Hey everyone, welcome to episode 363, Spousal Projection. Welcome to the Harmony in the Home podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Hutchison. I'm a counselor, a life coach, and most importantly, an imperfect mom doing this work right along with you. And my goal on our podcast is to go from chaos to calm, feel less frazzled, and have more fun within your four walls to have more harmony in your home. Oh, this sounds like a fun topic, doesn't it? Before I talk about spousal projection, which sounds like you need to go to the doctor for it, I want to talk to you about herbal face food, which is my favorite. I love it for soft skin. At 51, I need all the help I can get. And I will say, I have been getting so many samples of different products that I am loving with doing UGC. If you haven't heard me talk about UGC, just send me an email. I have to talk shop about UGC with someone. So if you're interested in getting into UGC with me, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. I'm having an absolute ball. But I've been getting so many samples. My face is so soft and supple, and I still use herbal face food. If you want to have soft and supple face, and I use it on my chest too, because there's a lot of sun damage there. Holy moly. Living in sunny areas and playing outdoor sports for 5 decades has really caught up with me. And back in the day, sunscreen was not a thing, like at all. And I had really bad acne as a kid. And so I thought if I could just lay in the sun a lot, then I could just burn off my acne. Like, what? The things that I thought when I was younger, like, and I'm talking like in high school, I thought that. Like, it's just not even normal. Like, and I guess I didn't have like social media to like compare and like fact check myself. But like, who thinks that they could put a lighter to their cheek and they're going to burn off their acne? That's what I thought in high school. And I actually did it. And I was like, ow, this hurts. I'm not doing this ever again. So I was like, well, I can't use a match to my face or a lighter. So I'm going to go out, lay out in the sun and put baby oil all over me. So sunscreen was not a thing. So all that to say, I do have a lot of sun damage and I wish I didn't do it, but nothing I can do about it now other than take care of my skin and my neck. Oh my gosh. I really ignored my neck. Whenever I do face cream, I've been using neck cream now and it's helping so much because I was just always going straight to the jawline. But I have this giant target of sun damage. It's like a circle of sun damage on the middle of my neck. It is so annoying. It's like such an insecurity of mine. I can cover it up with body makeup and herbal face foods helping so much with it. But it's not a sunspot. It's a giant white mark where sun damage is not. It's like my chin was my sun protection my whole life. Apparently I have like a Jay Leno chin because my chin offered sun protection and I have a giant white mark. Like no sun has ever hit it in the middle of my neck. And it looks like a target from Bulls. It looks like a bullseye from Target. Anyway, go to herbalfacefood.com, get anything in the cart and use Harmony 20 for your first order and you will get 20% off. And I think it's so cute that we have a coupon code. So use Harmony 20 and let them know that I sent you because that helps keep the lights on our podcast. Because I really don't want to stop at 400, but we got to get the lights kept on. So go to herbalfacefood.com, use the coupon code Harmony 20 to get 20% off. And today we're talking about spousal projection, which you're absolutely going to love. And it's a little painful what you're going to hear, but it's so true. And I talk about this a lot with Harville Hendrix, Getting the Love You Want, which is one of the greatest books I've ever read. And how our unconscious mind is always at play and our brain does not know the difference between past, present, and future. So it's always trying to heal old wounds in current time. And I learned that from Dr. Jen Berman, who's Dr. Jen Mann now, or vice versa. I can't remember which is her married name, which isn't. But I love when people take concepts that I literally live and breathe by, and they take them and they say them in a different way. So she's taking what I've said and said it in a different way. Oh, but I didn't even tell you who she was. So I've never heard of her before, but her name is Sarah Baldwin Coaching. And I wasn't even following her. So I don't even know how this stuff happens, how this shows up in my feed. But I'm not even like following her. And all of a sudden there it is. I can't tell how many views it has, but it doesn't really matter how many views it has because it's flipping amazing. So now I'm going to let you listen to it. And she's got beautiful hair too. So she's very, like, she looks like she could be like a newscaster on Dateline. She's so pretty. Okay, here I go. Here she goes.
Anything that is not resolved from your earliest childhood experiences will be projected onto your adult romantic relationship. So when your partner is just being human and they are getting frustrated about something, or they're giving you feedback, or maybe they're even just loving you, your nervous system will project every unhealed wound from your childhood onto your partner. And you're going to see things that aren't actually presently occurring. They are unresolved, painful moments from the past that are being re-felt in your body via this experience in front of you with your partner.
Okay, how good is that? And it's so true. And I love, Floyd asks, can you please define resolved? How can we know if that is resolved, and how do we resolve it if it is not? And Sarah, I love her answer. She obviously answered. She first of all answered, and she answered so thoughtfully. She said, such a great question, my friend. And just to say resolved doesn't mean it never, ever comes up again or that you feel nothing. From a nervous system perspective, it often looks more like the trigger feels less intense. You recover more quickly. You have more choice in how you respond. Your body doesn't go in the same level of activation. So it's less about never feeling hurt or activated. It's more about your system no longer getting stuck there. And healing isn't about focusing that shift. It's about slowly building safety in our body so those responses can update over time. What? How good is that? And the cool thing is, this is just one little clip. I always say I'm going to post it in the show notes, and then I always forget. But this time I'm going to post it in the show notes because it's a YouTube, and the YouTube about this. So that was just a clip. But I clicked on, someone posted in the comments, the YouTube for it. It's 1 hour and 7 minutes. It's so good. And L Parm says, I really appreciate how Sarah gave examples and modeled what reparenting looks like. Using her own life experience is so helpful. Thank you to all who's helped produce this podcast. So, so grateful. The last segment of this podcast was deeply touching. You inspire me every day, Sarah, and I can never say this enough, how grateful and blessed I am to have found you and Rachel and this whole community. I don't know who Rachel is. Again, I just found Sarah myself. So we're finding her together. But I just love, first of all, I love her microphone. I just want to be like, where do you get that sound, Sarah? I love her whole podcast setup. If you saw my podcast setup versus her podcast setup, you'd be like, hello? You need to step up, Kelly. But I also don't do video, and she does video. So I would say this showed up for me a lot early when I was married. Dave and I were going on 25 years this year. What in the world? And I would honestly say they were very happily married. And I would say he would say the same thing. Well, I know he would. And I would say that the reason why is because we have left our egos at the door, but our egos still show up. So yeah, it's nice to say leave your egos at the door, but the ego still shows up. And so we don't want to get rid of the ego altogether. We just want to be aware of it. And like she said in that comment, it's a little less intense. But David could literally never say anything that was like slightly remotely critical of me. I mean, how could he? But when he did, I lost my ever-loving mind and would get so defensive, and I would pout and I would sulk, and you don't see everything that I do, and you're focusing on what I don't do, and yada, yada, yada. And he was like saying things like, can you just, when the recycle bin's at the top, can you just take it out to the garbage, to the garage? And you would have thought he was going to take a light to the house and burn it down. Because, and I did some soul searching and I've done journaling, and, you know, my dad was and is the greatest, most remarkable human on the planet. And when you have a father like him, you don't want to disappoint your father because he's so wonderful. And he never would even say the D word. We call it the D word for disappointed. But he would just say like, hey, Kelly, can you clean up your room? And you'd be like, oh God, I disappointed dad. Because dad never complained about anything. So then when dad had a request or a quote unquote complaint, you felt like you just disappointed him. And he never got mad. He never got angry. He never sulked. He never lectured us. He would have just little chit chats with us, but you could like read between the lines. And as we got older, I remember getting a dog and knowing that he was not pro dogs, he's more pro cats. And I was like, I'm going to disappoint my father by getting a dog. This is like, I was stuck. It was like Sophie's Choice. It's like my kids really want a dog. David was indifferent. I was like, I think a dog would be cool. But like, I was actually scared to tell him because I knew he would not say anything. And that's the worst part because he never said anything, but you knew how he already thought because you already knew previous conversations. So I would say, Dad, we're getting, I'd tell him big news, we're getting a puppy. He's like, oh, okay. Okay. And you're like, and you just know that he didn't want you to get a dog. And he's like, you sure it's going to be okay for traveling? And that's his way of like letting you know you're going to be stuck at the house with the dog. So he was so wonderful. And so like, he walked on water in my mind. And so when your father walks on water, you don't want to disappoint him. And the big ways of getting a dog or small ways of forgetting to, box him back when he boxes you. So there's all those micro disappointments and then there's the macro disappointments. And he loved our dogs. When we got the second one, he felt really bad for the first one. I said, we're getting a dog. And he's like, you're going to do that to Maggie? Like, he was so protective of Maggie and he fell in love with our first dog. So in our second dog, every time they were together, he's like, I just feel so bad for Maggie. She's just, because our second dog has a lot of frenetic energy and our first dog does not. And so I'm talking about them. They're sitting right here. So he would always say, I feel so bad for the first dog. Anyway, not that he was disappointed, but so when David would say something about the recycle bin, the little girl inside of me was like, because I think David's amazing too. And so just like I think my dad was amazing growing up, I don't want to disappoint him. And so his little comments of things he would say, I was like, I don't want to upset him. I don't want to make him upset. So when David would say something about the recycle bin, it's like the little girl in me was the same little girl of him wanting me to clean my room. I remember having a huge fight about it because I was like, you don't understand all that I do. And if I do the garbage can, if I do the recycle bin, then it'll be something else. And it's not really about the recycle bin. And he's like, no, it really is. I'm just saying, can you? And I'm like, no, there's so much more to this. And I like threw the baby out with the bathwater. I think I like slipped in the other room. Like not that I was a baby, but I was stuck in inner child. I was such a little girl trapped in a grown-up body. And what she's talking about is so true. And it can show up in so many different ways. And that's such a silly example, but that's how the slow drift happens in marriages, because that happens. And he says that. And then my inner dialogue is he doesn't appreciate anything I do. And I do so much. And I wish he would see what I did do versus what I don't do, yada, yada, yada. And then I just pull away. And then he's like, dang, what's her problem? What's up her butt? And he doesn't know it's about the recycle bin. But then he's like, well, I'm just going to follow her lead. So then he slow drifts. And that's how the slow drift happens in a relationship. It doesn't happen in one thing about the recycle bin. It's that over and over and over and over. And now he can say things about the recycle bin, or he could say things about, I leave windows open all the time. Because with UGC, I'm doing so many UGC videos. All the lighting is everything. So I have all the blinds open, all the windows open. And he comes home, he's like, what is going on? I have the ring light on. It's like a full-on production studio. So he can say things like that now, and I can take it as a tactical, tangible thing that he wants me to fix versus, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough, and throw the baby out with bathwater and freak out and sleep on the couch. So I love this that she shares, and she shares even a longer one. And when you can learn this, you can teach it to your kids, and then everybody in your family has much more harmony in the home. I love you guys, and I'll talk next week. Bye-bye.
Hey mamas, thanks for listening. If you had any ahas, clicks, or those lightning bolt moments while listening, you have to check out my free parenting bootcamp, where we take all of this to the next level and we try to create even more awakenings for ourselves so that we can connect more with our kids and never yell at them again. You can sign up at www.coachingkelly.com. And if you really want to fill up my love cup, send me an email of what your aha was, what your click was, what was that lightning bolt moment while you were listening. I want nothing more in life than for you to have harmony in your home and to learn how to be an imperfect mom like me, which allows your kids to be imperfect too, each and every day. Thanks for listening.